Welcome to Business Edge Radio, the show that gives you tips, tricks, tools, and techniques about how to build a more profitable business, while at the same time creating your perfect lifestyle. It's a show about working less and living more. A few golden nuggets, a little bit of wisdom, and over 35 years of business experience to help you keep your edge. Lifestyle entrepreneur, best-selling author, internationally renowned business speaker, and daddy of three, Mitch Graff brings the heat with actionable techniques for building the business and lifestyle of your dreams. Now your host, Mitch Graff.
Well, hello there, Unleashed Tribe, and welcome to this very special edition of Business Edge Radio, the ultimate brainstorming session for your business and your life. I'm your host, Mitch Graff, and I have to say that we cover an awful lot of ground here on each episode, and we've created quite a groundswell of support across the country and around the world. And for that, I'm so grateful.
Don't you just love it when you laugh so hard that you get tears in your eyes, your sides hurt so bad that you think you're going to pass out, and you almost pee your pants, and you feel completely refreshed at the end? When you laugh that hard, it's one of the best feelings in the world. Humor. When you hear that word, your mind probably goes to the ability to tell a good joke or seeing comedians on TV. Well, here's a question. Do you think that you're funny? Most of you would probably say no. But if I were to ask you if you thought you had a good sense of humor, yeah, most of you guys would probably say absolutely. And we've talked many times before about making sure that you find that proper balance in your life between your work, time with your family, time for you. And it is the biggest challenge that all people have around the world, not just business owners. And to achieve this balance, you need to have the ability to take your job and your work seriously, but yourself lightly. Having a sense of humor is not something that you're born with. It's a set of developed skills that allows us to keep flexible in the face of stress and change. And it really has nothing to do with telling jokes. Right now, there's probably more stress and stress-producing things happening in the world and in your world to make anybody start to lose their lighthearted approach towards life. That's for sure. There are people in this world who go through life with a case of what I call terminal professionalism. And you know the type. If I'm going to be successful, I must be hard-driving, hard-headed, and serious. I don't have time to laugh. I don't have time to play around. Leave me alone. I'm having a really good bad day. Those are the kinds of people who end up with a nervous breakdown, end up as old, bitter, cantankerous competitors of yours, or worse, they end up dead. We need to enjoy the simple things in life, like a newborn baby or a sunny day, a home run in the bottom of the ninth, a good cup of coffee, the simple things. Now, having a sense of humor won't solve the world's problems, but it sure makes it easier to get through the tough patches that life throws at us now and then. Such an outlook has the magical ability to sustain life. When people are on their deathbeds, they don't say they wish they had more toys or had more money or owned a bigger house. They say things like, I wish I would have worked less and played more. I wish I would have spent more time with my best friend. I wish I would have spent more time gardening. I wish I would have spent more time with my kids while they were growing up. Part of the reason we find it difficult to keep it light sometimes is the world we live in is so full of stress. That part will never change, but we can change ourselves. Did you know that when you laugh, your brain releases a chemical called endorphin, which is what gives you that sensation of total exhilaration after a good, hard belly laugh when there's tears in your eyes and your sides hurt so bad from laughing so hard. It's actually the same chemical that is released when marathon runners hit the so-called wall when they're at the 15 to 20 mile mark. Just when their bodies are ready to shut down and quit, and they don't think they can go another step, their brain gives them the will to finish by releasing this nice little natural drug into their system. It gives them the oomph to keep going and finish what they started. Well, I don't know about you, But I would much rather have a really good belly laugh every single day than to run a marathon. Don't you agree? The lesson here, make it a point whenever possible to give yourself the permission to laugh. Laugh out loud. Make yourself heard. It won't ruin your reputation of being a stick in the mud. I can guarantee you that. Of all the languages in the world today, there's only one that all people in every country share. One universal language, and that is the language of laughter. I want you to think about what it is that can get you laughing to the point of tears, and seek that out today. Whether it's watching a comedian on TV, silly baby videos on YouTube, or having your spouse tickle your feet. That one gets me every time. Whatever it is, make it a point to expose yourself to it as often as possible. And guess what? You can have that euphoric sensation every single day of your life. And after a while, you actually become addicted to it. This is true. And around you go. Let's switch gears and talk about what it means to be a power marketer. A top-notch power marketer is constantly reviewing, analyzing, and adjusting their techniques to achieve their maximum potential and to get the most out of their employees and themselves. And only you have that ultimate responsibility. If you don't do it, nobody else will. And that's where the power comes in. Whether you have been in your industry for many years or are new to the game, you probably realize that it takes a lot of guts and determination to own and operate a business. Simple? It is not. It requires a very special person who is willing to take risks, commit themselves to a cause, and have the willingness to fight the daily battles in order to do whatever it takes to be successful. If I were to list all the issues that contribute to business failure, it would fill an entire book. Of course, you can find hundreds of books and thousands of subjects pertaining to business at your local library or on the internet. Many have good information, many do not. And I know of only one absolute truth when it comes to operating a business. There's not another business exactly like yours anywhere in the world, and only you can decide what information is beneficial and what isn't. Before you can develop a marketing plan, you must know what it is you want out of your life. Lifestyle design is at the very core of what I call being an unleashed entrepreneur, someone who puts their personal life first, then works backwards, reverse engineers to design the business blueprint that they desire. Striking a balance between bandwidth you devote to your business and the time you take for yourself is probably the most difficult part of being an entrepreneur. And it's at the very core of what this show is all about. Being successful has nothing to do with the amount of money that's in your bank account. It's about your perspective. Our thoughts can keep us healthy or make us sick. It's all up to us. Success is a constantly evolving journey, not merely just a destination. You set your sights on the future to map out your goals in your life, just as you do for your business with a good marketing plan. And after all, we drive with our focus on the distance, not on the highway as it passes beneath us. Remember Alice in Wonderland? When Alice was walking through Wonderland, she came to a fork in the road, and that's when she met the Cheshire Cat. She asked, "What road do I take?" And the cat says, "Well, where do you want to go?" Alice responded, "I don't know." And the Cheshire Cat said, "Well then, any road will get you there." Isn't that so true? When I was in the 7th grade, I had a business that I ran out of my garage. If you needed a bicycle chain or a seat or a tire or handlebars, chances were I had it. And if I didn't have it, I would trade with the guy down the road to get one. At the time, I didn't understand any of the dynamics of marketing, but I sure seemed to have a lot of kids coming over on Saturday mornings. And Saturday mornings were the best. All the neighborhood kids would ride their bikes up and down the street and would stop in to see what the hot special was for the day. The best deal I ever made was trading a set of blue handle grips for $1 and a 45 record. If you're younger than 40, you may not understand this reference. And I can remember playing that record until the grooves wore out. It was Little Willie by the Sweet. Remember that song? I used to take bicycle chains and horns to school to show my friends and classmates. Mondays were good because a lot of kids received their allowances on the weekend. Sometimes I'd get a special order for a banana seed or a sissy bar and would have to trade with someone else to be able to fill the order. In junior high, there were a lot of guys that had so-called bike businesses, so I usually found the item. There definitely wasn't a lot of money to be made, but looking back, I learned an important marketing principle. In order to be successful with any business, you need to understand your potential customers and then develop a strategic plan that attracts them to you. This is probably the most basic definition for the word marketing. In the real world of business, things are a bit more difficult than when we were kids, but the rules are the same. I have a power marketing self-test that I would like to give you that will give you some self-discovery and what's important to you, what's important to your business. You can go to powermarketing101.com/self-test. That's powermarketing101.com/self-test. Download it, spend some time with it. Having an intimate understanding of what makes you tick is not only important to your business, but to your life. Knowing your strengths and weaknesses, as well as what challenges and excites you, will help you be the best you that you can be. This is where good old quiet time comes in handy, because we all get into the working in our business mentality and can become mere observers of our businesses, when in fact, where we need to be spending the majority of our time is in the working on our business mode. This outlook taxes your energy level, and it doesn't allow you to focus on the real issue, which is how to make your enterprise more profitable. Nor does it free your mind to allow the expansive thinking that separates good from great. Let's compare your business to a car with a full tank of gas. At the beginning of the trip, you feel pretty good driving down the road, looking at all the sights. You're excited and enthused about your journey and not too concerned with what lies down the road. As the miles go by, the needle starts to drop on your fuel gauge, and you start thinking about filling up. But the next gas station isn't for another 100 miles, so you continue driving. If you don't get gas soon, you will end up stranded on the side of the road. Now, you would never let your gas tank get so low that you run the risk of running it dry in the middle of nowhere, would you? Likely not. So why would you allow your business to run for long periods of time without adding fuel to the tank? And the fuel for your business comes in the form of creative juices and mental energy. No one has as much desire to make it succeed like you do. The challenge is in figuring out a way to look at your business from an outsider's point of view. What we would like people to think of us and what they actually think of us are often vastly different. We may have the best intentions, but for whatever reasons, the message doesn't come across the way we intended. We all probably have a few stories to tell. I have a couple of friends who have been in their industry for over 20 years. They had become a little weary after that many years of keeping their noses to the grindstone, through tough times, through good times, and they decided to close their location. They both took jobs completely out of the industry where they had spent a majority of their adult lives, and after a while, guess what? They realized that working for someone else was not their cup of tea, and they reopened their business. But before they did, they had plenty of opportunity to research new and different ways of marketing, selling, branding, and just about everything related to being productive. This began to become quite enjoyable for them, and before long they had developed a head of steam that has allowed them to totally and completely reinvent the way they operate. What a joy it's been to watch them as their new vision has grown from the bottom up all over again, and as they have discovered new and exciting ways of doing things. It's almost like they are going into business for the very first time, and it's because they allowed themselves the creative freedom to brainstorm for a breakthrough. Is this something that sounds intriguing to you? Do you have the desire to reinvent or replenish your creative juices? Brainstorming will give you the opportunity. And maybe it's time for a complete overhaul of your business engine, or maybe it's time for a major tune-up, to continue the car analogy. The most valuable asset you can have as a power marketer is an objective perspective. In a sense, you need to put your entire business on the table in front of you, then stand on a chair and look down upon it. Here's a simple test you can take to help identify some objective details about your business. Grab a pen and a paper, maybe a good cup of coffee, and And I want you to grade yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, okay? Here we go. First question. I am totally satisfied with my staff and feel that they are doing the best they can do. I feel my staff is happy and content with their jobs. I have a good understanding of my customer base. I am satisfied with my current suppliers and know I'm getting the best possible service, quality, and price. I believe my storefront, website, and other marketing collateral are the best they can be. I am satisfied with my current level of sales and profit. I have a thorough understanding of my competition and know their strengths and weaknesses. I feel the products and services I offer are complete, my price is fair, and my profit margins acceptable. I know my strengths and weaknesses and can list them on paper. And the last question, I am confident that my ordering procedures and inventory levels are under control. Well, how did you do? Did you give yourself 10s across the board? Or were there some questions that gave you a little pause for thought? If you gave yourself 10s all the way, you obviously are in touch with the pulse of your business. If you gave yourself lots of 5s and 6s or below, you would probably wonder why in the world you got into the industry in the first place. The good news is there's no pass or fail marks. It's only a better understanding of your business. We need to have a starting point, and now you know where yours is. If you scored lower than you had hoped, don't get discouraged. That just means you have more opportunities for growth. Booyah!
Hello, Unleashed Tribe. I am so honored to have you as a loyal listener, and I'm very excited to tell you about the Business Edge Radio app, now available on Apple and Android devices. You can catch up on past episodes, watch short videos of the Business Edge Minute, our 60-second show that gives you quick and easy tips on building a better business and living a better life. And you'll get access to bonus materials that are only available on the app. In fact, I have a nice little PDF bonus waiting for you there right now. Plus, you can email the show, call the show, connect with us on social, check out our website, and even make a nice fluffy omelet. No, you can't really do that. Just go to the iTunes Store or Google Play Store, and you can download the Business Edge Radio app so you can be one of the cool kids on your block. Business Edge Radio, the ultimate brainstorming session for your business and life. Now available in the App Store. Download it today. And if you don't, I'll come visit you on your day off. Fans of Business Edge Radio, I have a very special treat for you. As you know, I love barbecuing and making up any excuse to get myself outdoors. And that's why I'm so excited to partner with Barbecue Nation. They make incredible sauces and rubs and spices and meat shredders and grill scrapers and lots more. And they're offering a deal for our listeners. Check out bbqnation.net. And when you place an order for any of their products, you'll receive a 20% discount off your order when you enter the word EDGE at checkout. Looking for a magnet that lists your cooking temperatures or different types of smoking woods? They got that. Need a heavy-duty set of meat shredders for your pulled pork or shredded chicken sliders? They got that too. Or my favorite is their Magic Dust Everything Rub that will spice up just about any dish. Log on to bbqnation.net. That's bbqnation.net today. And when you enter the code EDGE at checkout, you'll receive a 20% discount just because you hang out with us on the show. Barbecue Nation, get your grill on. When it comes to branding your business, you have two choices. Have a business that offers the same products, the same services, the same everything as all your competitors, or you can figure out a way to develop a niche where there is extraordinarily little or no competition. This is called finding some blue ocean somewhere in the world. Now, we discussed this topic briefly a few episodes ago, but I want to really get into the nitty-gritty today. You may already be aware of the terms red ocean and blue ocean, which were coined by professors Chan Kim and Renee Maborn through their international best-selling book, Blue Ocean Strategy. Basically, a market that is full of competitors is known as the red ocean because all that competition turns the ocean a blood red. If you are already a business owner in today's business world, you may have been trying to figure out what you can do to blast through your competition. However, do you really want to operate in that highly competitive ocean, or would you rather figure out a way to be a pioneer in an ever-expanding blue ocean? The hard part is dealing with all the copycats that seem to come out of the woodwork and take advantage of the mistakes that you've already made, your ideas, your strategies,
In other words, they can force you back into a red ocean, especially in this high-tech internet world that we live in today. But what can you do if you are in blue water and it starts turning red slowly? It is possible to stay in the blue water and grow a profitable business, but first, let's look at the differences between the red and the blue oceans. Number 1, in a red ocean, the competition already exists, whereas in a blue ocean, you can create an unchallenged market space. Number 2, the strategy in a red ocean is to beat the competition, whereas in blue water, you make the competition completely irrelevant. Number 3, the competition may have an advantage in the red ocean, but the blue ocean requires innovation and value. Number 4, the red ocean has existing customers already. The blue ocean attracts new customers. And number 5, existing demand is exploited in red oceans, whereas in a blue ocean, new demand is created. So how do you survive in a red ocean? Entrepreneurs and business leaders are constantly creating competitive strategies for red oceans. They go head-to-head with their competition, day in, day out, over the same consumer markets. All of them are doing the exact same thing, but trying to compete on, guess what? Price. You will never win that battle. That I know for sure. Let's take a quick look at fast food chains like McDonald's, Burger King, Arby's, Wendy's, Taco Bell. To survive, they've had to offer more items, install faster ordering systems, and cater to those interested in eating healthier meals. I can't remember the last time I saw a fast food chain that didn't have a $1 value menu somewhere displayed on the premises. The increased competition turns the water red, fighting for more profit and growth, meaning the pressure to lower prices becomes immense. In the blue ocean, demand for your services and products is created rather than waging war against your competition. There is plenty of opportunity for growth, and blue oceans can be created in 2 ways. First, you can create a brand new industry. For example, when Netflix first came out, nobody really had heard of watching a movie or a show on demand streaming on the internet. I can remember even before that when I used to get actual DVDs in the mail every week. This is before the internet as we know it today blew up. We used to have to wait an entire year to watch The Grinch or It's a Wonderful Life on TV or watch reruns of Friends. Now, at the touch of a button, we can watch just about every show ever created. If you've noticed, Netflix now has a red ocean of competition. Everybody has a streaming service just like Netflix. So what did Netflix do a few years back? They began creating original content, which kept them a step ahead of the competition. They created blue waters once again for a short period of time. Well, now Google and Apple and Disney, among others, have jumped into that crowded space, and the blue ocean is once again turning red. I am sure someone will come up with an innovation to the industry that will make the competition irrelevant for a short period of time. Then the cycle will begin all over again. Now, you're even hearing rumblings that we may be able to watch a brand new movie on our own TV in the comfort of our own home without ever having to leave the house. That would indeed be an innovation that would flip the industry on its head. I, for one, really enjoy getting that big, huge, unlimited-sized popcorn, refilling it once for free, and sitting in the front row so the sound makes my entire body just start vibrating. There was a study recently that showed that over 80% of Americans would be happy to pay a premium price for a brand spanking new movie that could be played at their home. Stay tuned in the industry for sure. Or second, create a blue ocean within a red ocean. And this can occur when a company changes the limitations of an existing industry. A good example is in the saturated fitness industry with a company called Curves. Started back about 25 years ago, Curves changed fitness for women by offering studio fitness workouts at a low price. The workouts last for 30 minutes, and you have a coach during each session, as well as other support members that you need in order to achieve your health and fitness goals. At the time, nobody else was offering a product or service that competed with them. All right, so here's a few tips for how you can find and stay in blue water. Number 1, you have to offer benefits that your competitors consider unnecessary or overly unique. It might be something that contributes to a cleaner environment, offers a unique purpose, or a style that is distinctive, exclusive, rare, or irreplaceable. Something that is not already being done. This is a great exercise for your back deck with a good cup of coffee. Number 2, create a total solution for buyers who are purchasing a product or service from you. A good way to do this is to consider what goes on before, during, and after the sale has been completed. Let's say that you own a nursery that sells vegetable starters for gardens. Tomatoes and cucumbers and beans and peas and pumpkins and corn and onions, all of them. Well, what do people need before they put starters into the ground? Well, they'll need good soil. They'll need a planter or a box to put the starters in. They'll need gloves, knee guards, among other items. What about things they could potentially need after the starters are planted? Well, they're going to need fertilizer pellets. They're going to need hoses for watering, weed killers, snail killers, and so on. You could offer a complete vegetable starting kit, so to speak, which will not only generate additional revenues, it will also build a loyal customer base that knows you offer them a complete solution for their gardening needs. Another idea, you could offer mini seminars on weekends for customers to learn about what veggies do best in your area and what types of soils are best for different types of plants. I hope you're getting the point here. Number 3, create a new allure or interest in an existing product. I can remember when fidget spinners were all the rage a few years ago. You saw them everywhere, and they all were kind of the same if I remember correctly. Then they started getting smart and making them with fancy colored lights and sounds and different shapes. And because of that, it extended the rage another season or 2. Number 4, create a high value at a low cost. A good example of this is Southwest Airlines and JetBlue, who appeal to people who are used to driving or are used to driving to their destinations rather than flying. In other words, they made flying affordable. Strip away any unnecessary costs. Anything that doesn't contribute or create value gets reduced or completely eliminated. No free meals, no free checked bags, etc. Give the customer the absolute lowest price, no frills, no benefits. As you can see, the concept of a red and blue ocean is much easier to understand if you look at real-world examples that exist today of how businesses have branded themselves, then continue to rebrand themselves. Most industries are operating in red oceans with defined competitors, with specific ways to run their businesses in a defined market. It is best described as shark-infested water, where all the sharks are fighting for the same prey. You must take time to evaluate whether you need to rethink your business strategies and branding in order to create a blue ocean for your business. This is fun and challenging all at the same time. If you are spending all of your time fighting for a piece of limited sales, then you're in the red ocean and you need to stop right now. You are probably constantly competing with your competitors just to increase your market share as your business becomes more competitive and aggressive with more and more competitors coming in every day. Profits are likely to diminish as well, and eventually you'll just be out of business. When companies compete for the same customers with the same products, features, benefits, everything, the result is a pricing war, and you will always end up the loser in that scenario, guaranteed. Just remember that once you are successful in blue water, other companies will be attracted to you and quickly change your blue space to red. When this occurs, and I bet your bottom dollar that it will, you must differentiate yourself. And saying that you're the original doesn't work anymore. You may be forced to customize your product even more or offer other services to keep yourself in that blue water, but it will be totally worth it. Innovate, innovate, innovate. Always, always, always. Hello, Unleashed Tribe. I am so honored to have you as a loyal listener, and I'm very excited to tell you about the Business Edge Radio app, now available on Apple and Android devices. You can catch up on past episodes, watch short videos of the Business Edge Minute, our 60-second show that gives you quick and easy tips on building a better business and living a better life. And you'll get access to bonus materials that are only available on the app. In fact, I have a nice little PDF bonus waiting for you there right now.
Plus, you can email the show, call the show, connect with us on social, check out our website, and even make a nice fluffy omelet. No, you can't really do that. Just go to the iTunes Store or Google Play Store, and you can download the Business Edge Radio app so you can be one of the cool kids on your block. Business Edge Radio, the ultimate brainstorming session for your business and life. Now available in the App Store. Download it today. And if you don't, I'll come visit you on your day off. If you know anything about me, you know that I love my early mornings, and I really love a good cup of fresh roasted coffee. There's nothing better than getting started before the rest of the world with a good cup of joe. That's why I'm so excited to have Mountain Creek Coffee as a partner. The process is so simple. You order, they roast, they ship, you enjoy. They don't roast your beans until an order is placed, which guarantees the absolute freshest coffee that you can get. Check out their artisan dark roast, medium roast, or decaf beans at mtncreekcoffee.com. And when you put in the code EDGE at checkout, you will receive 20% off your first order. I prefer the dark roast because of its full body and bold flavor. You order, they roast, they ship, you enjoy. Log on to mtncreekcoffee.com and enter the code EDGE at checkout, and you will receive a 20% discount off your first order. Pretty cool stuff. Mountain Creek Coffee and Business Edge Radio, a partnership brewed out of the love of coffee. See what I did right there? Water. It's everywhere. It's free. This is a product that has always amazed me, something that we have access to for free, yet we gladly will pay good money for the convenience of not having to get it from our tap at home or because we simply want to belong to the brand. It's in our lakes, in our mountains, in our schools, in the showers, in our sinks. Remind me again of why there's so many water brands on the shelves today when it's something that we can get for free in most places. We will spend anywhere between $1 and $10 on a single bottle of water, not just to get hydrated, but to belong to a brand or a cult, if you will. People that walk around with a bottle of Perrier don't do so because they're necessarily thirsty. They do it because they belong to a tribe, a group of like-minded people from all over the world that have bought into the Perrier brand. Dasani, Aquafina, Evian, all have created cult-like followings for their brands. We purchase over 50 billion bottles a year in the U.S. alone. Worldwide, that number is more than 200 billion bottles a year. And I have a secret to tell you that I'm sure most people already know, but we don't like to admit it to ourselves. In the purest form, water is water. There's no such thing as a better quality of water. Now, assuming that it's void of minerals and any impurities, water is water. And now that we have that figured out, we can now move on. 2 bottles, the same H2O inside. 2 diametrical opposite markets. One is the low end, where a small bottle of water goes for pennies. The other is the high-end landscape, where it goes for as much as $10. And remember that water very similar to this is available from your sink or a garden hose in your backyard. One is $1, one is $10. And how do you pull something like this off? Both have bottles, both have lids, both have labels, both have, wait for it, water inside those bottles, and in most cases, the cost of producing those 2 bottles is relatively the same, believe it or not. Now let's take the conversation a step further. 2 watches sitting side by side. On one side you have a Timex. Great watch, keeps time. And the other one you have a Rolex. Both fit nicely on your wrist, both look very nice, and both tell time. So why do people pay north of 10 grand for Rolex when they can get a Timex for $50 or less and it tells time just as well? Or take motel chains. You got Motel 6 on one side, Marriott on the other. Why do we pay $200 for a room at a Marriott and you can find a room in a Motel 6 for $49.99 and they'll leave the light on for you? They both have beds, they both have sinks and showers and windows, and at the end of the night, both will give you a good night's sleep. Of course, with Marriott, you get the fancy mint on the pillow and your toilet paper is in the shape of a trout or a swan or something like that. But both deliver to you a good night's rest. Hershey's chocolate versus Godiva chocolate. Both are very good chocolate. One's $1, one's about $10. Most people couldn't tell you the difference between them, and I am probably one of those people. BMW and Ford Escort both have steering wheels, both have seats, they have radios, they have windows, they get you to and from where you're going. So why do we pay so much more for a BMW? The answer is very simple. It's in the brand that these companies have crafted around their product and in our minds, and it's in the story behind their brands. How about if you and I go into business together, and let's say we decide to start a bottled water company. And let's say we wanted to go after the higher end market. First, obviously, we have to have an incredible looking bottle with a logo and graphics that will really draw people into the bottle. You've heard me say before to look at what everyone else is doing and to don't do that and come up with something different. So we want to make sure that our bottle was perhaps a little different shape, had a very attractive logo, and a name that stood out. Maybe something like Mountain Creek Water Company. And the logo can be a graphic of a fresh, clear mountain stream that shows majestic peaks in the background and a deep blue skyline. Now, in your mind's eye, you probably are seeing this bottle right now, aren't you? And since most other bottled water companies use heavy blue on their bottle, and if you think about it, you see blue just about on every single label, which signifies water, and I understand that. But let's not make our primary color blue. Maybe we go with a green that signifies nature and trees, and also subconsciously gives us the association for health and eco-friendly and organic. Well, as I mentioned before, water is water, but it is important to understand how colors play an important role in the way that consumers react to a product or service, as well as the packaging or the branding that surrounds it. And maybe for our label, we use a dramatic combination of both blue and green to create a bottle that is head and shoulders above anything else on the market. And on the back of the label, we can tell the story about how our water comes from the highest, cleanest, purest location in the mountains, and how we take the utmost care in making sure that their bottle of water is as fresh and great tasting as any water they will ever have. When we think of mountains, we think of a place where there's less people and less pollution and a better quality of life, right? So what kind of customer would we be targeting? Well, someone who likes the great outdoors, for sure. Our bottle and graphics will definitely take care of that. Or perhaps it's the source of the water that will trigger the right emotion. Using words like mountain or crystal clear or glacier are far more marketable than just another ground level spring or a river, regardless of how pure, pristine, and intact it might be in reality. So now we have a gorgeous bottle that outshines all the others on the shelf. We have a story that makes an emotional connection with our consumers and a price point that justifies those elements. And let me ask you, as a consumer, if you saw this beautiful bottle of cold, refreshing water in your local store right next to all the other bottled waters, would you be inclined to purchase it more than the others? Well, my bet is that you probably would say yes. Would you feel like it was a better quality water? Probably. Would you say that this bottle of water was worth more than the others on the shelf? More than likely. Would it make you feel more like you were part of a group of other people who like clear, refreshing mountain water? Absolutely. And that's how you create a cult-like following for your products and services. Now, what's that easy? If we craft a compelling story and message, people will have an emotional reaction to it. It's a basic human behavior. We want to believe. And once people are indoctrinated into our story, they will ruthlessly defend your brand at all costs. It's not just a bottle of water, it's a statement. It's an ID card that our friends immediately recognize. A single, swift look, and people know that we belong, right? It doesn't matter that we paid 1,000% over the real market value. We bought access. We bought a privilege. And need I remind you that this is something that most people in the world can get for free with a little bit of effort. These brands have created a sense of tribalism for their products, and with it has come tremendous amounts of profits. Your goal should be to create the same type of zest and zeal for your brand so that people will proclaim your name from the highest mountaintop, and you will have a cultic-like following for your products and services. You do this, and the rest is a piece of cake, I promise. Nike, Apple, Harley Davidson, Gucci. Need I say more? Hello, Unleashed Tribe. I am so honored to have you as a loyal listener, and I'm very excited to tell you about the Business Edge Radio app, now available on Apple and Android devices. You can catch up on past episodes, watch short videos of the Business Edge Minute, our 60-second show that gives you quick and easy tips on building a better business and living a better life. And you'll get access to bonus materials that are only available on the app. In fact, I have a nice little PDF bonus waiting for you there right now. Plus, you can email the show, call the show, connect with us on social, check out our website, and even make a nice fluffy omelet. No, you can't really do that. Just go to the iTunes Store or Google Play Store, and you can download the Business Edge Radio app so you can be one of the cool kids on your block. Business Edge Radio, the ultimate brainstorming session for your business and life. Now available in the App Store. Download it today. And if you don't, I'll come visit you on your day off. Fans of Business Edge Radio, I have a very special treat for you. As you know, I love barbecuing and making up any excuse to get myself outdoors. And that's why I'm so excited to partner with Barbecue Nation. They make incredible sauces and rubs and spices and meat shredders and grill scrapers and lots more. And they're offering a deal for our listeners. Check out bbqnation.net. And when you place an order for any of their products, you'll receive a 20% discount off your order when you enter the word EDGE at checkout. Looking for a magnet that lists your cooking temperatures or different types of smoking woods? They got that. Need a heavy-duty set of meat shredders for your pulled pork or shredded chicken sliders? They got that too. Or my favorite is their Magic Dust Everything Rub that will spice up just about any dish. Log on to bbqnation.net. That's bbqnation.net today. And when you enter the code EDGE at checkout, you'll receive a 20% discount just because you hang out with us on the show. Barbecue Nation, get your grill on. We've all heard it said before that the best lessons learned are from the School of Hard Knocks. This prestigious university has some of the best alumni in the world, and the curriculum is more difficult than Stanford Medical School. You can't apply for admission, and you don't get to pick your classes. Well, now you can give the gift of a PhD from this prestigious university. This authentic diploma is printed on the same high-quality paper that the top schools in the world use for their diplomas and comes with an official gold foil seal that will look great framed in any room. This PhD degree will become the center of conversation. Get one for your spouse, for your boss, for your parent. Give them the gift that money can't buy today. When you place your order at schoolofhardknocks.net, you'll receive a special discount of 20% at checkout when you enter the code EDGE. Once again, 20% off your first order when you use the code EDGE at checkout. Schoolofhardknocks.net. That's schoolofhardknocks.net. Get one for that person in your life who seems to have everything, or heck, get one for yourself. You've earned it. Fear. Fear of the dark. Fear of ghosts and spirits. Fear of deep water. Fear of heights. Fear of the girls saying no. Fear of death. Fear of the number 13. Yep, that's a thing. Fear of the relief pitcher for your favorite team giving up a homer in the bottom of the 9th inning. And the fear of competition, whether it's the competitor down the road, across town, or online. There's also competition for who gets the best parking spots at the grocery store, who gets to be first in line when the new register opens up, or competition from the employee sitting in the cubicle next to you in your office. Our lives are filled with elements of competing, wanting to end up higher on the totem pole than others. And along with that comes a fear of the unknown. If you are or were an athlete of any kind, you have an intimate understanding of what competition means. And having a healthy dose of that competitive spirit inside of you is what separates good from great and catapults you to the top of the food chain. As an athlete, the ones who are on top are there for a reason and have several things in common. They tend to have a more structured approach to their workouts. They have daily habits that feed right into their mental approach for reaching just a little bit farther than others, and they crave competition. They realize that competing against others is what truly motivates them to dig deeper, try harder, and want to win. In the sport of professional business, the same dynamics are at play, and it's incumbent upon you to have or to develop that competitive spirit. If I were to tell you that you were going to coach a basketball team in the championship game,
even if you know nothing about the sport, what would be on your list of things that you would do in order to get ready for the game? Well, first you need to learn about the strengths of each one of your players, their weaknesses, their ability to fit into a team, and then you'd have to learn about how the team performs together, which will give you a whole new list of strengths and weaknesses that your team possesses. Then you need to run the same analysis on the team you will be playing against. What strengths and weaknesses do they have? What their tendencies are? What style of offense and defense do they run? What happens when they're trailing in the game or winning big? What about the coach? What are his or her strengths or weaknesses? And how does that stack up against your own personal list? If you prepared your team this way, I guarantee that it would be a very, very good game. So why is it that we don't prepare our own businesses in the same way? Well, it's that fear. We're afraid that we won't stack up. We're afraid that we aren't as good as others. We're afraid that we might just lose. Fear is a fundamental part of human psychology. Our brains are wired to feel fear because it helps us avoid calamity and it keeps us safe. But fear can also hold us back if we let it. The more we try to avoid something we're afraid of, the bigger and deeper our anxiety grows. And to overcome this, we each must face our deep-seated misgivings and our worries. We must acknowledge our fears and find some way to get beyond them, to move beyond them. Here's a list of our top fears from our friends over at entrepreneur.com. Number one is just simply the fear of change. Change of any sort can be very frightening. In fact, our brains are pre-programmed to avoid it. It's natural to seek a comfortable, secure existence. We like those comfort zones like we've talked before. We resist change when it poses a threat to our status quo. But complacency can keep us from acting and moving forward. Number two, the fear of failure. Failure often seems like the worst of all possibilities. When we think of failure, we think of unbearable embarrassment and the anguish of losing everything. But fear of failure is often rooted in our own personal pride. We don't like to lose. I can tell you from massive experience that failure is the foundation of success. I believe that if you asked a successful business person about how they built their company, you'll hear stories about how they had to overcome failures and setbacks and being discouraged and disappointed. If we fail, we believe that all those who doubted us will have been right. Instead, ask yourself these two things. 10 years from now, will you regret not taking this opportunity? And if you do fail, what's the worst that happens? Number three, fear that you don't know enough. We call this the imposter syndrome. It may sound silly, but you don't know what you don't know. We all have gaps in our knowledge and blind spots in our business acumen, and most of the successful people that I know make daily efforts to get better at whatever it is they do. If you're worried about missing areas of information or expertise, just start working to rectify the situation today. It's really simple. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Find a mentor and find resources that will help you fill in your blind spots. You can seek feedback from others at each step of the way, but don't allow fear to cause you to constantly second guess yourself. You got to have the confidence in yourself and trust your gut instinct. Number four is the fear of the unknown. Uncertainty registers in our brain like a blaring alarm clock. We often avoid the unknown because we fear change. We're afraid of losing control and being unable to manage potential outcomes. Allowing yourself to take a massive leap into the unknown is terrifying because we have no guarantees of how things will turn out. It's like walking into a dark room that you've never been in before. You don't know if you're going to be tripping on something, running into something, or have a Sasquatch suddenly pop out from behind the wall and say, "Boo." When you understand what drives success in your business and you feel confident in your business model, you'll feel more assured when you step into this unknown territory. Number five, fear of committing to business expenses. It's one thing to dream big, develop a business plan, and set goals and objectives. It's another to put your finances or your savings on the line and incur large business expenses. But here's the thing. There's almost no way you can move forward without putting a little bit of money into it. Even a low overhead, low cost business will eventually need an infusion of some funds so you can market yourself, develop a professional looking website, or invest in office equipment such as a computer. Yeah, committing expenses is a risk, but unless you're willing to invest in your dream, your business will quickly plateau. Number 6, fear of taking risks. Every time we risk something, we're putting ourselves, our business, and our reputation on the line. A risk can pay off with amazing success, or it can lead to a downward spiral and failure. But there is an important difference between dangerous, unmitigated risk and thoughtful, calculated, measured risk. Smart entrepreneurs take measured risks. Dangerous risk takers are like gamblers, betting it all on something that isn't proven. With a calculated risk, you have strategized each step of the way, and you move incrementally towards your goal, carefully assessing your level of investment and overhead until you're assured your business will support more. So calculated risks are key to every success. Number 7, fear of disappointing and letting down others. Nobody wants to let their people down. Who doesn't want to impress their friends and colleagues or loved ones? We want to live up to these expectations, but as an entrepreneur, you're going to have to carve your own path. You must focus your time and energy on the things that matter to you. If you don't go after your dreams, pursue your goals, and build a life you're passionate about, you're letting yourself down. Decide what your purpose is and then go after it. Don't push aside your own ambitions in the quest to keep everyone else happy. Number 8, fear of being pushed into uncomfortable situations. Many people fear public speaking more than death itself. Just the thought of it puts us on edge and makes us anxious because public speaking can be incredibly nerve-wracking. With practice, however, we can become comfortable pushing ourselves outside our comfort zones. But it won't happen without getting into the right mindset and preparing to take this challenge. Just like climbing a mountain or going skydiving, you wouldn't do it without working yourself up to it first. You can start by taking small steps, doing things just outside of your comfort zone, baby steps. Allow yourself to become familiar with the discomfort. And before long, you'll be able to embrace new situations without dread and distress. Number 9, fear of being wrong. Most business people are competitive by nature, so it makes sense that many of us would fear making mistakes or seeming less than perfect. Overcoming this fear requires you to tackle your ingrained sense of perfectionism and learn to be comfortable with the fact that everyone, even you, will be wrong sometimes. It's important to recognize that mistakes happen because we did something. We took action. We made a leap. Maybe it was a misstep, but making a mistake is better than doing nothing at all. That only leads to indecision and stagnation. Don't beat yourself up when you make a mistake. Recalculate, keep pressing on. And number 10, fear that you're not good enough. Self-doubt can be a mountain to overcome. We know our flaws and our shortcomings better than anyone. Sometimes a dark fear lingers in the back of our minds. What if I'm not good enough? For some people, this becomes a deeply embedded fear that they're not as competent as anyone else, and they feel no matter how hard they work, they will always be inadequate. This is called the imposter syndrome, and this hot mess of harmful anxiety can set up a vicious cycle of questioning your abilities and constantly striving for unattainable levels of perfectionism. Take steps to move past these feelings. Don't let the internal fears hold you back from pursuing your goals. Now, throughout history, wars have been won and lost by many nations, many types of people. Some wars were fought because of differences in religious beliefs. Others fought over territorial disputes, and still others because of overinflated egos of their leaders. Regardless of the reasons why people fight wars, it's a given that the winner was aware of the opponent's strengths and weaknesses and was able to adapt their battle plan in order to effectively compete. And as we just discussed, one of our biggest fears is the fear of competition, and it doesn't matter what you do, it's everywhere. Competition is vital to your success, whether you realize it or not. It requires you to constantly adjust, analyze, and adapt your own business plan to a changing market. Those who react the most effectively are the ones who end up on top, while those who don't react end up in a different industry. On the flip side, we are all charged with the responsibility to both introduce new customers and to educate them about our respective niches. In this respect, you're on the same team as every one of your competitors, but that's where the friendly competition ends. Beyond that, the consumer is the battlefield, and the name of the game is survival of the fittest. You're in business to generate profits and provide for your lifestyle choices, just like your competitors. If I asked you to list 3 strengths and weaknesses of your biggest competitors, would you be able to do that? Most of us are acutely aware of our own strengths, but won't admit any glaring weaknesses. That's just human nature. In business, however, you must be able to identify the good and bad in our own enterprise as well as others. Here's a fun suggestion, at least to me. One of the easiest ways to learn about your competition is to give them a call and just set up a meeting with them. Just sit down and chat with them about challenges, their struggles, their vision. Be willing to share yours as well. There's no rule that says you can't get along with or be friendly with your competitors. Remember that we're all on the same team, and it's important to help each other. You don't have to give away trade secrets, but you may find that you can help each other in many other ways. Remember, the goal in marketing is not to have your competitors fail, but rather to increase your chances of succeeding. It's important to mention that not everyone can have the same strengths and be best in all categories. But to maximize your position in the market, you need to be top in at least one category. Which one? Well, that's up to you to figure out and decide. What is it that you do better than anyone else? Well, to many companies, they've tied this little answer up into a package called a slogan. Here's a little exercise that will show you the incredible power of a good and simple slogan. See if you can identify the companies behind each one. And I want you to be thinking about what position in the marketplace you occupy and what your biggest strength is. Okay, just do it. Well, that's Nike. They want to sell to people who take action in their lives. Nothing runs like a deer. Well, that's obviously John Deere. But what the meaning is that they make high-quality products. It runs like a deer. From sharp minds come sharp products. That's sharp electronics. They make you believe that their products are for people who consider themselves intelligent or smarter than others. You're in good hands. That's Allstate Insurance. They want us to believe they will take better care of us than their competitors. Have it your way. It's Burger King. You can have a Whopper without onions if you want. And here's a slogan I believe was at the beginning of the right now culture in America. Fresh, hot pizza delivered in 30 minutes or less, guaranteed. Well, that's Domino's Pizza. They don't make that claim anymore for many reasons, but for years, they owned that category. Even though all the other pizza chains made deliveries as well, Domino's was known as the 30 minutes or less. If you were in a hurry, guess who you called? Domino's. And they dominated that for many, many years. Do you have a slogan or a tagline for your business? Can you summarize your biggest strength and your marketing message and what position you occupy in one sentence? Creating an effective marketing slogan will require some thinking on your part. It doesn't have to be complicated, but it should communicate who you are and what you want the market to know about you, your biggest strength. Spend some quiet time putting together some ideas on what your slogan can be. And if you already have one, maybe you can think about some ways that you can improve on it. There's nothing wrong with changing or updating your slogan as your business grows and changes in this ever-evolving world. Nothing wrong with that at all. Well, that will do it for this episode of Business Edge Radio. If you enjoyed the show, I invite you to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes so that other people just like you can discover the show. Until next time, this is Mitch Graff reminding you to live with passion. I'll catch you later.
Thanks for hanging out with Business Edge Radio. If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to subscribe, rate, and review. Then hop on over to www.mitchgraff.com to get even more meat and potatoes. We also invite you to follow the show at facebook.com/Unleashed Tribe. The most valuable asset that any of us has is our time. And we thank you for choosing to spend some of your precious time with us.